This is Saqqara, the oldest pyramid in the entire world. Located 30 kilometers south of Cairo, Saqqara was the primary burial ground for the ancient Egyptian capital of Memphis, and it's Egypt's largest archaeological site. The very first Egyptian pyramid was built here, and it was designed by the legendary architect Imhotep. Prior to the first pyramid, nobility was buried in these rectangular structures called mastabas tombs. There's several of these here at the site as well. But Imhotep ushered in a new evolution in Egyptian architecture with the pyramid. New discoveries are still coming from Saqqara in present day. The area offers incredible insights into ancient Egyptian burial practices, religious and cultural practices from nearly every period of ancient Egyptian history. Most of Saqqara was still buried in sand until the mid-19th century when French Egyptologist Auguste Marietta uncovered the Serapeum, which was a burial site for the sacred Apis bulls. I apologize if I'm not pronouncing that correctly. We did not get to visit this, but it looks super fascinating. And then the massive funerary complex at the site was exposed in the 1920s. There's a really interesting Netflix show also on the recent discoveries in Saqqara. I will link to that in the description below. Now on our trip, we start our day at the Imhotep Museum. The Imhotep Museum has a beautiful collection of significant findings from Saqqara. Now Imhotep was credited with all of these different roles you can see here. He was a very significant figure, and his solid wood coffin is also on display here. Now the most famous structure here is this step pyramid. It's also called the Pyramid of Djoser. Djoser was a king in the 3rd dynasty between 2670 and 2650 BC. So there's a gorgeous display here of the tiles that were found inside his tomb. Now here at this museum, I set my eyes on my first royal Egyptian mummy. This is one of the oldest that was found here in Saqqara. And there is a really interesting display of cat mummies. Now we drove by this whole area that's a full temple on display just dedicated to cats, and it is still undergoing excavation. After the museum, we drove to get a closer look at the Pyramid of Djoser.
$1,000. I joke and no believe me.
You enter through this gorgeous wall structure here that is still standing. It was intended to replicate the walls of Memphis for the pharaoh to see as his soul left the pyramid on his way to the afterlife. When you walk through this entry hall, it was noted to look at how smooth the walls were, almost a perfect reflection. Then you walk through this space that had these columns that looked like papyrus bundles. The papyrus was a symbol of rebirth and connection to the marshes of creation in Egypt mythology. Now this area is a huge complex. The pyramid is surrounded by a massive 37-acre funerary complex with temples, courtyards, chapels, and ceremonial spaces. Now we did not explore all around this area, and we did not go in the pyramid. The pyramid is now open inside. If you have visited inside this pyramid, I'd love to hear from you. How did you like it, and what did you see in there? Next, we headed over to the Pyramid of Teti and some of the mastabas of the royal tombs that were in this area. Now, it doesn't really look like a pyramid anymore. It's now like a low sandy mound due to erosion, and they didn't use the type of construction that was going to stand the test of time. Now, these here are the rectangular mastaba tombs we were talking about, and there are several in the area for high-ranking officials. These were not the pharaohs. These were considered the royals, such as the chief advisors and the chief justices of the government.
Hi, sweetie. Hi.
So hippos were the only animal considered evil because they will kill you, but they won't eat you in the Nile. Very interesting. They also said because this guy was not a pharaoh, he could only depict daily life inside this tomb. afraid if they hid the tomb that the soul wouldn't know where to go, so they made these false doors. But that's how the thieves found it as well. There's one more room, but it's so crowded we're not going to go in it. So I'll show it as we pass by. Back over there. So we're going in this pyramid, but a big Russian tour group just ran in. So it's going to be super crowded. Okay, my pants are, I'm stepping on my pants. So we do have to bend to go down here. They said this one is quite a bit shorter. First chamber, next. We have to crawl. I'm going to turn this off because it's too dark. Now, what makes this pyramid and the tomb so extraordinary is the interior inscriptions inside. The walls of the burial chamber are covered with pyramid texts, and this is the oldest known religious text in the world. These were hieroglyphics all over the wall that was designed to protect the king in the afterlife. Super hot. I'm gonna head back out of here.